um, you were running around town with Grace and having the last bit of freedom before you become the assistant team leader. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So thanks for giving me just a little bit of grace to get in and you know, from my last appointment. So we've been running around like crazy this morning.
All right. Well, I just so here's kind of the format. What we've done for the last handful of weeks, and I know you took the reins on one of these opportunities, was what I want to share with the folks on the call. We've got people that are virtually brand new to real estate within the
Yeah.
last couple of months, and then one or two people that have been in the business a good bit longer. And
Right.
I just kind of want people to hear your story a bit. Um, Everything from what you did prior to real estate, to share some information about your background, your education, whatever you feel comfortable with. The people in your world that are important to you. I know family is a big deal for you, as it should be. And then what we'd like to do is just, I want people to see, um, one thing that I've always admired about you, Robin, is that you you are open to opportunity, and you're always learning based, and therefore you've gotten an opportunity to do a lot of really cool stuff, from John Maxwell to the ALC to going to Family Union Megacam, to ultimately taking this new leadership role on. And I just want to make sure that the people on the call hear that this is a company of opportunity, and should somebody take a particular interest in something, there's no one in the world stopping them from getting exactly what they want. Whether that be by joining a team, creating a team, teaching a class, participating in committees of some sort. There's just tons of opportunities. So I'll kind of guide you a little bit as you're talking, but I want you to and then I want you to, of course, sprinkle some information about advice to agents along in there, and then I'll kind of guide you bit by bit. So who is this Robin Lemon woman that's going to be our new assistant team leader?
Um, First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to come in and speak to you guys. Because first of all, for you guys in productivity coaching, hats off to you for doing this. Oh my gosh, had I had a group like you guys have, with somebody like Bill at the helm way back in the beginning, or even if even when I left a team and went out as an individual, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but just to be able to have somebody like this that has all of the experience that Bill has, the connections, the resources, the education, and the history that he has, you've got a gold mine right there. And I'm so glad that you're in his group. For
Much, Robin.
for me, you're welcome. So I started out in real estate after after I had done a whole lot of other things. I feel very blessed that, like many people that chose real estate as their last career, you just have a whole lot of careers before then that you sort of bring into. And that's where it's great, especially as a new agent, that draw from your past resources. Don't ever negate your last resource or your last job or your experiences, or never negate that. Pull it in if you need to, just to show your value and your experience as a person, right? When I was 23, I started my first nonprofit organization, and scared to death, we were meeting, about 4 other ladies and their husbands, and we would meet together in each other's houses, and it took us about 6 months to get it all together. And I went out, and my job was the Speakers Bureau. I was to establish a Speakers Bureau and talk about our nonprofit. So I did really great. The very first time I stood up to speak, I did really great for 5 minutes out of what was supposed to be 30 minutes.
What was the nonprofit, by the way?
It's called, at the time, it was called Crisis Pregnancy Center, and it was offering women another choice: diapers, prenatal care, everything. It was helping them, especially if they were unprepared for the pregnancy. It was helping them decide to keep the pregnancy, keep the baby, but we were able to give them massive resources, right? So that organization changed names several times. They have doctors and nurses now, and it has been going on now. Now I'm going to tell you my age because you're going to figure it all out, but it's been going on now for 34 years.
Wow. Wow.
It's pretty cool, right? So I'm really proud of that, because but in that very first time where I was speaking, 5 minutes in, I'm doing really great, and then it was a total blank, total complete blank. And I'm standing in front of about 300 people with nothing to say. And so the guy that invited me, he comes in, he bails me out. And so on the way home, I'm beating myself up. I'm like berating myself. You should have been better prepared. You would have been able to nail this. You guys, it's just like that in a listing presentation. That when you walk in, sometimes that if you haven't really, really prepared with what you're going to say and sort of building in those objections, that Bill is so good in teaching us how to build in those objections and be able to overcome those. So 5 minutes in, I bombed. I on the way home, I'm berating myself, and I realized after that, you know what? I will never be unprepared like that again.
It's a great lesson.
And a great lesson. And the other thing that I learned is that nobody wants to listen to just one person for 30 minutes. That's sort of that's sort of hard unless you're just incredibly dynamic.
Oh. Well, we've only been listening to her for like 5, and she's done. What in the world? She'll be back on in a second. Hey, you guys, turn on your faces now. Make her feel welcome. So let her see your smile. Well, you'd only talked for 5 minutes, so I figured you were done.
Done. See ya. So you know what sorry about that. And so the other thing that made me realize is that people like to hear conversations like you and I are having. People like to hear the dynamic of 2 people talking, or even 3 or 4 panels are always great because it brings in a different element. You're thinking of asking me questions that I'm not thinking about talking about. And so there's a dynamic there. Now, when you're doing a listing presentation, that's not always helpful, but what is helpful is building into your listing presentation opportunities for conversations so you don't feel all of the stress and pressure of having to be the all in all. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, 100%. 100%.
Yep.
So you've done your work with the nonprofit, then what?
After that, I bought a business, and the business was already established. I bought this little business for $3,000. And it was a balloon business. Way back in the day when people would like to, instead of ordering flowers, they would order a balloon bouquet. So I bought the little business and started it and realized, we're going to have to double the prices in order to make money. We got to double the prices. And you know what? This single one-on-one little bouquet has got to go. We need to do major corporate events. I lived in Las Vegas for 24 years. We're in the conventional capital of the world, right? So I'm thinking, okay, let's go for convention business. Let's go for corporate, and let's put on big productions. So that's what we did. We started doing big productions. We started doing massive. If somebody came in to do either, we did work for Nike, AT&T, T-Mobile back in the day, Sprint, all kinds of people, and we would replicate we would do anything from balloons to flowers to fabrics to lighting, everything.
So give me an example of how you went. Give me an example of you saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool to work for to do business with a company like Nike? Take me from that thought to you actually being a partner with Nike. Did you make a cold call? Like, how did that happen?
So what I did is I started reaching out to the event planners that were actually employed by the Convention Visitors Authority. And this was a union town, right?
So you need to get to the union rep. You need to get to the union people that bring in all of these big major people. So I didn't actually have to reach out to them. I just went to the intermediary, right? So went to the middleman and said, this is what I'm doing. And then we took very good care of our middlemen. Okay.
Yes, that's I've worked in some arenas like that as well, and let's try to put a real estate spin on that, right?
Yeah.
We look at the marketplace, right? We see who's out there. We see what the needs in the community are. We see, is it a buyer's market, seller's market, investor's market, a lot of foreclosures, not a lot of foreclosures, right? How can we find our niche here and then go be the most impressive service provider for that niche? That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So if you're a teacher, you need to go back to your school. If you're a past teacher, go back to your school. If you're a past corporate, where you were corporate sales or whatever your past is, that's one spot. Go back. Don't be afraid. Do amazing, confident, go in, fake it till you make it. If that's the mindset you have to have, it's okay. Remember, you always know more. You always know more than the person you're serving, right? You always know more than the person, because they don't have a real estate license. They've never done a real estate tour. They've never been an agent. They don't know all of the things that you know. So even if you are new and you think, oh, well, let me go back to Nike where I worked and tell them that now I'm a real estate agent. Why are they going to believe me? Why aren't they going to go with their agent that put them in the house? Because you're going to walk in with total confidence. You've got your little market stats. You have your elevator speech. You're not going to talk for 5 minutes and forget everything because you're scripting, practicing, things like that. So go back in your history and find what that is. If you have a dynamic church, or you have an amazing small group, or you're involved in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts or whatever, how can you take care of that Boy Scout, Girl Scout group? You're going to be the sponsor. You're going to be the one that brings, you're going to be the one that literally mothers the den mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to bring the donuts. You're going to bring whatever it is. You're going to treat that person just like as if they were the union rep that has 50 different vendors they can use, and you're going to love on that person, right?
And those are with a real estate spin on that. That's basically your cheerleaders, right? Those are your core advocates. These are the people that would knock over the person in front of them in line at the grocery store to give the person in front of them a business card of yours. Say, oh, I heard real estate here. Don't make any decisions without talking to Robin now, right? Yeah. I had one of my last jobs before real estate. I ran a reservations office for a fine dining restaurant in Colorado that was mostly the concierge were super important to us, right? Because the people at the vacationing families would come in and they'd say, hey, where do I go to eat? And we wanted every single time for the concierge to say, you got to go here. Let me make it happen for you, right? So we buttered those concierges up like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Right. And I was dropping by, saying hi, bringing that, bringing this, bringing that, bringing this, offering this. And without those people, I would have been lost.
Yeah. And each have those cheerleaders. Each of us have those cheerleaders. So when you got to grease their palms. You want a good, I'm from Vegas. So you want a good seat when you go into a show. You go in, you want a good seat. You grease the palm of that maitre d'. You palm that in your hand and you go out, you shake their hand and you say, thanks so much for taking care of us tonight. And you're going to get one of the best seats in the house. It's how it's done.
That's right. New concierge comes in and say, hey, let's go take a sleigh ride up to the mountaintop and have some honey marinated ostrich and talk about how cool this place is.
Honey marinated ostrich, is that really a thing?
Yeah.
No way.
It is when you pay like $130 a head to go to eat at this restaurant.
Oh my gosh, did you hear that, Grace? Yes. Honey marinated ostrich.
Sounds very strange.
All right, so Robin, how'd you find real estate?
So after I sold my business after 11 years, and I sold it for a whole heck of a lot more than I bought it for, and I'm so grateful for that. And so when I sold that, Meanwhile, I had still stayed involved in nonprofit organizations, always serving on boards, always giving back. And in the meantime, I started training leaders. And every Wednesday, I trained 120 leaders using John Maxwell's information, and all. That's where I became an associate leadership trainer of for Maxwell. So when all of that went down, I sold my business, and then I became very bored because I'm constantly needing something to do. So I went to work for the city of Las Vegas and worked at Human Resources. And a lady came in while I was at Human Resources, and it was on lunch, and I'm having to multitask all kinds of things. And she's looking at me, she said, "Hey, tell me about, who are you? Tell me about Robin Lemon." And so I said, "Well, what do you mean? What do you want to know?" And she said, "Well, like, what's your background?" So I told her I had background, started nonprofits, blah, blah, blah. And we had also started another nonprofit to help, Las Vegas is Las Vegas. You got prostitutes everywhere. You got the topless dancers. You got strippers. It's a rough place, right? And so we started an organization to help women come off the streets. And so I'm very passionate about ending human trafficking. So we started another nonprofit. So I've climbed through windows to get a crack strung out working girl out of her pimp's house and get her to a safe place. We've rescued 18, 19-year-olds out of pimp's houses with big burly men, and it's just, and when it didn't happen, you had dads in tears who were sitting in the van trying to get their girls out of these situations. So all this time I've still been very involved in those types of efforts and serving on boards for things like that and training people on that. So I'm still doing this when I went to City of Las Vegas, and this manager saying, watching me multitask, "Well, with your nonprofit organization, I'd like for you to come work for neighborhood services and do real estate, working with developers, funding real estate projects for, funding housing and things like that." Oh, that sounds interesting. I don't know about it, but we started learning. I got the job. So here I am working with developers of real estate projects and in funding their projects, $30 million worth of tax exempt bonds that I would have to orchestrate. And I answered directly to the manager and the city council. Major stress. Wow. And I hated it. I hated it because I loved the concept of real estate. Loved the contracts, loved negotiating. I hated the concept of, I hated the enabling rather than the empowerment portion of it. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying, I like a handout when a handout is needed, but I would rather a hand up. I would rather teach you to fish than give you a fish, right? So that was a conflict philosophically for me. And I said, you know what? We had made the decision to move to Atlanta by this point. And we said, when I love real estate, but I'm going to go on the nice side of real estate and I'm going to go into residential. So that's how I came into real estate here.
All right. So let's jump to how you found Keller Williams.
Was with RE/MAX several years, had a short stint with a smaller brokerage, local brokerage here. And my former team leader, Denise Buchanan, was chasing me for about 3 years. She says 5, but I think it was only 3. It could have been 5.
You were tougher than me. I gave in after a year.
No, you're saying tougher. I was dumber. I was dumb. That was just dumb. But she came over, or I would come over to the office. 2 things that made me choose Keller Williams. Very concisely, 2 things. One is I went to Mega Camp, and here I am at Mega Camp. It wasn't on my dime. Denise treated me. So here I am at this conference, and you guys, if you've never been to a Mega Camp, you must attend Mega Camp. And this Mega Camp, I think, is going to be pretty darn easy and pretty affordable to go.
$109. Was that Mega Camp 2010?
No, that would have been Mega Camp 2012, maybe.
Okay. She brought me
Yeah.
to Mega Camp 2010.
Ah,
Yeah.
so she taught you a thing or two that this is a successful thing. So thank you, Bill. Who knew we'd be so connected? So here I am at Mega Camp, and you guys, if you've never worked at another brokerage, you don't quite understand how cutthroat it is. So when you're in a team meeting at another brokerage, it is, everybody's just getting general information, but what we're doing right now doesn't happen in other brokerages. It doesn't happen because everybody wants to hold their secrets in. I paid my dues. I'm not going to share my secrets. Are you kidding? I paid my dues. Let them pay their dues, right? And here I am at Mega Camp, and all of these very successful agents are spilling the beans. They're spilling their guts. Gary's asking them, questions about net profit. He's asking them questions. Well, how much did that cost you? And why did you do that? And what sort of impact was that? Well, how did you go here? Well, and they're detailing step by step by step by step of how they did something and how they became so amazingly successful. And I'm sitting there going, who does this, right? And so it was after that, 3 months later, I had made the decision, but I hadn't pulled the trigger, right? And Denise is just like pulling her hair out at this point. And so she says, I want you to come see this lady named Mo Anderson. Have you had them listen to Mo Anderson?
Yeah. You went to Quantum Leap when she came to Atlanta?
I did, at the hotel down by the airport.
Just bring the paperwork, baby.
That's it. I mean, that was it. So you guys, here's this powerful woman. And for the women on the call, I'm speaking to you personally. I know you men can't relate to this, but women on the call, listen, there is nothing wrong with being a powerful businesswoman and still have a woman's touch and still be able to bring in all of our natural skill set and not think of it as a weakness. Okay. Here is this Mo Anderson, this powerful woman, hugest smile on her face. And she's talking about how to be a strong woman, but culture, how to have live an amazing life and have an awesome culture and be powerful in business. And that was something I had not heard from a woman to a woman before.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like, yep, I'm in, sign me up.
Yeah, I was in that room. That
Yeah.
was phenomenal. And Mo and I have, this is about you, not about me, but Mo and I have been, we've connected many times over the years, and we've spent a little time together, and she's just amazing.
Yeah.
I got the opportunity to do the inspirational breakfast prayer 2 years ago at Family Reunion, and she coached our ALC.
We were so proud.
She coached our ALC, 6-7 years ago.
That was one experience I won't ever forget.
You were on that ALC, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she came in and she's like, all y'all are family cheaters. She said,
I know.
Ben Lively, you got 2 people in your downline. You're a family cheater. Bill, you got 1 person in your downline. You're a family cheater.
That's right.
And
That's right.
She's like, Tom Curtin, you're the only one that seems to care about your family around here. And I left that room and I was like, damn, if she didn't just call me a family cheater.
I know.
And I've emailed her every Christmas since then, telling her what my downline looks like.
Good. I'm no family cheater now, Ms. Mo.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So one thing you've served on many ALCs, right? Probably 5 or 6 ALCs at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, when the very first thing I did when I came in Monday morning, when I became the team leader, was I went straight to your office and I said, Robin, I need you on the ALC.
Yeah.
I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
Right. So I've always admired your leadership, and super grateful. And the people on this call and the people at the Market Center that don't know you well, they're certainly in for a treat to have you as a business partner and as a helping hand and as somebody that's going to help them build their confidence and their skill set. Talk to us a little bit about the origins of your team. I know at one point you were on a team, you were running the buyers division for a team, then all of a sudden you became the team, and then you blew it up. Talk to us about that.
So the team that I brought over from the former brokerage, I was the rainmaker. I did listings, buyers, managed the other buyers, and we were just knocking it out of the park. When I wanted to take it to the next level and just really blow it out, because I had a vision of wanting to be on stage with our team. And when we say on stage, we're talking about at family reunion but mostly mega camp. When they have, when they look at a team and they say, wow, you're really knocking it out of the park. And that was the vision that I had for it. And, but you have to get buy-in from your other partners. I was actually business partners with, I served on the team as a buyer's agent, and then as a listing and buyer's agent, was an exclusive buyer's agent for 7 years. And these were all internet leads, every one of them internet leads, where I had to convert them over the phone. I got really adept at consolidating buyer presentations and really good at asking questions. Because when these people are coming in, most of them from out of state with maybe 2 days to buy a house, you might be showing 14 or 16 houses in a day. Mm-hmm. Because it was back in the day when inventory we had over 100,000 houses on the market, yeah. Right? I mean, it was craziness, and half of them were foreclosures.
Yeah, it's like 18 in one day. That's my max, guys. We'll do 18 again tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it was. And then there were days in this craziness where I'd have clients from maybe 8 to noon or 9 to noon as soon as I could get into a lockbox. 9 to noon, and I'd have maybe 30 minutes break to shove a hamburger in my face, and then 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 with other clients. Yeah. It was crazy. So I didn't want to work that hard. It was like, we got to develop this team out, and Keller Williams is all about teams, and we need to learn how to do this. And my partners I didn't get all their buy-in. And so I said, you know what, you guys, I'm going here. You want to go here. We got a divorce here. So we did. And they left the company, and I stayed, and I became an individual agent, and I was freaking out because all of my leads were internet leads. So I'm thinking, I've been doing real estate now for 7 years, and now I have to switch gears and basically learn how to do this business over again, learn how to lead generate. I mean, I knew the business, but learn how to do all this over again. And Denise kept on, you can do that. Do this now, follow this model, do this. And I did, I just followed the model.
Right.
And we split up in 2014, 15. And in 2016, I was the #1 individual agent at our Roswell Market Center. I was number 1 in 2017, #2 in 2018, started the team. And what I mean by starting a team is I begged, pleaded, bribed my husband to come onto the team. Right. And I didn't really, you guys, I kind of did, but I took him to every mega camp, every family reunion, every mastermind, spring masterminds. I brought him, and eventually he was like, I think I can do this. But it actually came down where I said, these are the books. And you're telling me I can't match your salary and your benefits? I'll match your salary. I'll match your benefits. You're crazy not to join me. And let's build our legacy and our empire rather than somebody else's. So I brought him in. And so we now have, one full-time admin. She's a virtual assistant, full-time for us. And then we also have a contract to close person that's also virtual. So, and then Scott is, all of the production that I currently have is being transferred over to him. I'll be completely out of production by August 30th. No new business is going, I'm not taking on any new business. So Scott is in full production mode right now, and he is going to be hiring over the next year, he hopes to build out the team by at least 2 or 3 more members.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm sure you have a a growth plan. I'm sure you have a GPS,
Yes.
a 411,
Which I'll share
coaching.
with end to one at the end of this, what is it, August 17th, I think. Please be on that call, you guys. We're going to do GPS, 411s, growth plans. Please join me in that class.
Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to shift gears just for a second. So I want you to kind of clarify to the room what does an assistant team leader even do? But I want to start off by reminding you what one of your primary roles will be, which is growth, right?
Yep. Yep.
So growth of the market center, and I always think of growth very broadly. Growth is, hey, I'm going to help Ebony grow her business. I'm going to help Brian grow his business. I'm going to help grow their leadership skills. I'm going to help them grow their business acumen, right? It's not just about putting more people in the building. So
It isn't.
one of the skills that you are going to be fine tuning and refining is your ability to attract people to Keller Williams that either have not been in the business previously or might maybe kind of sputtering a little bit at a different brokerage. And one of the things that you're going to be taught to do is to share your story, right? And why you have elected to join Keller Williams and what's happened to your quality of life and your financial world and your kind of your mindset and your leadership skills since you came on board. Can you just kind of give us a sneak peek of what that might sound like? Like, what has Keller Williams done for you?
First of all, Keller Williams is all about mindset. For me, mindset is everything. It is what, if you have, you know me, I'm always reading. I'm a big reader. So anytime that I'm talking or teaching, I'm always going to bring in resources. Now I want you to write this guy's name down. And if you've heard of him, awesome. His name is Joe Dispenza, Dispenza. He is not in our real estate world. This guy has a profound story, and I encourage you to read his stuff because he actually gets into the science of the brain and how the science of the brain, when we shift our mindset, what happens to our brains physiologically? What happens? Can you reprogram your brain? And mindset reprograms your brain, which reprograms your body. If you've ever seen someone that maybe had an obesity problem all their life, they were raised that way, their DNA and their genetics, it all leads to that, right? This is an easy example. We could even do it with someone that struggles with alcoholism. It's anything like that. Mindset is so powerful, you guys, that you can take that it has scientifically been proven that just by changing your mind and being very intentional with what you read, what you listen to, who you're surrounded by, what you decide to think about from the moment that you get up in the morning until the time that you go to bed, what sort of mindset you have, your brain will actually rewire itself to that new mindset and your body will follow the course. It is amazing, the scientific evidence. And he goes into that. So for me, mindset is everything. And Keller Williams, their entire culture is built. Our entire culture is built around mindset. Set your mind to be successful. Set your mind to expand and embrace opportunity. Whatever you set your mind to, and you start doing those steps, your mind changes. And all of a sudden you've been in real estate for a year and you're thinking completely different. Well, why is that? Because you've been training your mind every day to spit out statistics. And you always said you're not a mathematical person. But all of a sudden you can start spitting out statistics that we have 2 months of inventory right now. You know what that means? You've changed your mindset. And when you talk, when you're going into a seller's appointment and you're all of a sudden you're standing a little taller, you're speaking, and now you have more authority. You have changed yourself. So mindset is everything. Keller Williams has done a lot of work for me on mindset. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Quantum Leap, for example, what the class that you and I were both in the room for when Mo was speaking to us, we're talking about things like, your top 25 and your I remember that day, I remember this very, very clearly. She said, what if you just had 25 people in your database that would each give you one piece of business a year? You'd never have to call another stranger again.
No.
And I've quoted that so many times by saying, like, she said, you should know what their dog's name is.
Yeah.
Right. And if you know what their dog's name is, you'll be getting plenty of business from them. Trust me.
Exactly.
Right.
And what's really great about Command right now, and guys, don't freak out about Command. Too many people freaking out about Command. My husband is former IT, and he tells me this all the time. No technology is perfect, and no human being is perfect. So guess what? The whole thing is flawed at its basic core, because nothing is perfect, right? So it's going to, but in opportunities, in Command and opportunity, oh my gosh, you guys, you don't have to remember their dog's name. You put it in there and it remembers their dog's name, right?
Right.
So, and then you build a business. My team were 86 last year, 86% referral based.
Yeah.
Because we remember when I greased the palms of hey, you love on your people, and I don't care if it's 25, Miss Mo, 25, you won't have to get new lead at all.
And I got a chance, funny story, I got locked out of my hotel room at family reunion this year. And I happened to cross paths with this guy who was the tech guy. He was staying like a room over from me, and he was a part of the Command team. And his job, he was basically brought over from another big tech company, and he was the chief engineer for the consumer app. So he basically ran the entire team for the consumer app. And I got a chance to speak with him for like half an hour that day. And he would like just the sheer like energy and love that he has for like building out these tools for us. It's like, I just can't wait to see what's coming down the pike. You guys don't understand how lucky you are to be in this organization.
Seriously.
What else do you say? Let's shift to some advice. So you are going to get an opportunity to speak to a lot of agents, a variety of price range, or not price ranges, I'm sorry, production levels, a variety of experience levels. What advice do you have to somebody that's building their business, or maybe they've kind of hit a little stall in their business? What do you say to them?
The first thing I'm going to do is start asking a bunch of questions, right? Ask questions. When you go into an Apple store and you say, I think I need something. I need a new MacBook. Don't they ask you like 20 questions just to get to the right product? And they'll do that. And my youngest son actually worked for Apple for years. And he now has his own business called The Digital Organizer that helps people determine how to organize their digital lives. He's got a pretty cool business. And he learned all of this from Apple by asking questions. And I'll be the first one to say, I still am learning every day how to ask really good questions. Bill, you're good at asking really good questions. And I think the majority, especially depending on how you're raised, I was raised by Southern parents. And so those Southern parents, I was raised never rock the boat, right? So here's a little secret. This is going to sound a little judgmental, but I hope it doesn't. When I've negotiated with people that were born and raised here, I understand that there's this basic need that they want to avoid confrontation. Most human beings do. Mm-hmm. But when you know that there's somebody who wants to avoid confrontation, I love it. Because I'm not wanting to create a conflict or create a confrontation, but I know if I can provide a solution to that agent so they don't have to have a confrontation, I got it.
Right, and your client gets a better opportunity.
Yes, it's totally a great opportunity, right? So it's just really learning to ask the right questions. So some of the questions, the first thing that I would want to know from a new agent is, if you were to put yourself in the center of an org chart, right? The center of an org chart, and here's you. I want you to take yourself out of the real estate business for just a moment. Take yourself out of the real estate business for just a moment, and I want you to imagine that you are going to open a coffee shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to open a coffee shop. You found an amazing spot on Canton Street, and you know you're going to get walk-in traffic. You know that you have this vision that it's going to be the coolest coffee shop around. You've saved money. You have it ready to go, and there you are, inside the coffee shop, right by the register. You've got everything all set up, and it's just you. What's the first thing you need, guys?
Help.
You need help. And in our world, what does that translate to? Now, hopefully you've saved a little money, but if you haven't, do you still get free help in Keller Williams?
Yes.
All the time.
Lots of free help. Ebony, tell me a little bit about free help that you experienced about 5 or 6 weeks ago on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh my God, I was waiting to get to this. Okay, so this is the best story ever. Robin, she just randomly texted me like, hey, I'm doing an open house. Would you like to come? And I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I want to come. So got there, and Robin, you are amazing. I promise you, you are. So before I'm walking there, my hair was fine. Everything was literally perfect until I took that 30-second walk from the apartment. From my car to the house. I got there and I'm literally in a ball of sweat because I put this thick lotion on that had my hands sweating so much. My hair, I did something different with it. It completely swelled up. So this is the first time I'm meeting Robin, I look like a chia pet. And I'm so upset because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've worked so hard for this moment. But Robin was amazing. Like she walked me through everything. She explained what I needed to say when people came to the door. She gave me that confidence. She calmed me down completely. It was a great experience because she took over. One, she reached out to me and I did not reach out to her, and I was so thankful for it. So that's help. I don't know what it was that she saw in me. I don't know why she called me, but I am thankful that she did. But that experience, it calmed me down. It was a learning experience. It was like literally my first open house, and she embraced me and made me feel comfortable. So that is the excellence that I see when I look at Keller Williams. So she helped me, and I needed her for everything. I didn't even know with the signs that after you put signs down, you have to pick them back up. Did not cross my mind. And when she did this, it's just like, oh.
So and there we were in our high heels, having to walk across big streets to get the signs. Yes.
So it was an amazing experience. I will forever love you for it, because you could have looked at me and said, oh my God, she's not prepared. She's embarrassing me and everything, but you didn't. You took every moment and you made it a teachable moment. And I appreciate that so much.
You know, one thing that I love, that's so great to hear, Ebony. One thing that I love about this company is that we all have a vested interest in each other's success, right? Whether we have a profit share sponsorship relationship or not, right? If Robin can help Ebony have more deals or get more confidence, that will put more money into the coffers of the market center, where we can use to pour back into our people through bringing people like Dave Jinks to speak with us and expanding space and moving into a different space, or hiring a new staff member, or, giving away some bold tickets like we're about to do. Like it all comes full circle. So I want to be respectful of your time, Robin. Do we need to cut off right at 1, or what's your time looking like?
I do, because I have a little one that we have a tea time at a miniature is coming up. So
all right, let's do hey there, Grace.
Hi.
This is the most amazing granddaughter in the whole world. And I love her so much. Mwah. She's being so patient.
God, family, business, right?
Okay, one real quick before we transition. Ebony, the reason I helped you is because, first of all, it's in my nature to help in any way, anyone at any time, right? If I have the availability, I'm going to do that. That's why I stepped into this role. But Ebony, you raised your hand at team meeting and you asked some questions and you shared, you were vulnerable and shared a little bit of your vulnerability and just, you know, hey, I feel like I've prepared my whole life for this and I want to do it so right. Those were some of your words. And so when you may not have asked to go with me to the open house, but you raised your hand because of your vulnerability, your willingness to participate. And in my mind, that is a hand raised so high that I say, if she's participating at every meeting, she's there, she's asking questions, she wants to grow. Both hands, you had both hands up. And I said, and I called Melody and I said, Melody, can you send Ebony's phone number to me? I want to invite her to an open house. And so it's because you raised your hands and your vulnerability and your participation. You wanted it, so I wanted to give it to you.
I love that. All right,
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I want to hear your story about transitioning into leadership. You spoke a little bit about that on the video, but I also want to open up the floor to any questions. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask of Robin? Don't be bashful. You already see what happens when you raise your hand. What?
We're just good at talking, Bill.
Yeah. Well, while everyone is thinking about their question for you, why don't you tell us why you are giving up a business that, you know, I mean, you got, we're an open book company. Anybody can find this out. I mean, you had GCI over 400 grand last year, right? Like, why would you give that up to be an assistant team leader?
I'm not giving it up. Scott's still doing it.
I set you up for that, by the way.
You know, it's coincidentally, I've been asked 3 times to be the assistant team leader over the years. And each time I said no, because I didn't have my team set up where I could walk away from that sort of production. You know, when you're making 400, 450 GCI, that means you're netting, if you're good and you watch your net profit and you're really careful with those numbers, you know, you're netting around 350,000, right? 325 to 350,000 if you've got that much GCI, if you run lean.
That's very lean.
It is. It is. And so when you can do that, you don't walk away from that easily. So now that Scott is in production, I will beat him to within an inch of his life if I can, if he doesn't keep that production up. And we always laugh about that, and I know he will. But it's because I could put models and systems in place to allow me to take advantage of an opportunity. I went to Andy Peters last year. Scott and I went and we raised our hand and we said, hey, we're looking for opportunities. If you are thinking of expanding, if you're looking into businesses and other market centers and things like that, would you just keep us in mind for opportunities? So we raised our hands back then. And then you called me and said, hey, I just want to know, your name just got thrown into a hat to be the assistant team leader.
Well,
and,
you know who threw it into the hat, right?
Of course you did, because and we have each other's backs, you guys. Bill and I've worked for years together, and we have the relationship where we can actually sit down across from each other and we can just basically vomit all over each other if we had to, and not that we do that, but we are brutally honest with each other, and we really appreciate that. And I think that's why, you know, Bill came to me the first, you know, when he took his position, and he threw my hat into the ring for this. but it was opportunity. My hand was raised, and Aubrey called me and asked me if I would consider that. It was a very lengthy, brutal, grueling process of the interview process. The career visioning process was
Yes.
long and it was difficult.
He knows your
Here's
blood
why
type, your birth weight, your zodiac sign.
Seriously, I had to sign off on the granddaughter's will. I mean, it was everything. But here's why I did it. My heart is always to serve. Just like I did for Ebony, it's been this way ever since I came to Keller Williams. Knock, knock, knock on my door. Hey, can you help me? And I would stop what I was doing if I could. If I was in the middle of doing a contract or something, I'd say, give me 20 minutes. But I always would circle back around and say, and so my phone rings off the hook all the time anyway on, hey, can you help me with this? I need help on this special stipulation, things like that. And so when the HTL role came up, I said, now is the time. I'm not walking away from production. I'm now going to be able to go back into helping people, which I absolutely love. And you know what, you guys, there will be opportunities that will present themselves over the next couple of years because of what I'm doing right now. So that's another thing I love about this company. If you don't always want to be an agent, guess what? You can go into leadership. You can go into coaching. You can go into administrative. The sky is the limit with this company.
Yeah, I have a very similar story. I asked for a meeting with Andy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't think I care about backward electrical outlets anymore. Okay, what else you got?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, who has a question for Robin? Let's maybe do a question or two before she runs off and plays some miniature golf with her granddaughter.
Hey, I just want to ask if maybe she could one day, she won't have enough time today, but maybe talk about how she converted those internet leads and was so successful with that.
Very quick question. I'm happy to answer that right now. It all comes back to if you were in an elevator with somebody. I'm sure you've heard about an elevator speech, right? And that's a 30-second pitch. And I used to do it something like this. When, hi, I'm Robin Lemon. I help people build wealth. Oh, really? They're thinking you're a financial planner. I help people build wealth. Really? What do you do? Well, I sell them houses. Really? Well, how's the market? Oh, the market. And you know your stats, just like that. Let's talk about converting. If you have maybe a Facebook ad that somebody has clicked on that Facebook ad, and next thing you know, boom, you have an opportunity. It's in your email, right? Or your text, or however that's coming. You don't know this person from Adam. You call them up. Hey, it's Robin Lemon with Keller Williams. I just got an inquiry from you about, what my home is worth. Tell me more about that. How can I help you? So maybe that, Bill, why don't you role play with me for a second? You're an internet lead. You want to know what's one of the ads that your group has been, that you guys have played with, or have you yet?
So we've talked a little bit about command ads, but we haven't placed one officially, so the group could kind of see what type of results they get. But let's say I want to know the price of a listing that you posted.
Great. So Bill, that's how did you see the listing? Did you see it on Realtor? Did you see it on Facebook? How did you see that listing?
I saw it on Facebook. You got some great pictures there.
Excellent. So Bill, this is in Roswell. It's in the neighborhood of Edenwild. It has 5 bedrooms. It has 4 baths. I got to tell you, the basement was finished amazing. It's got a full bathroom. It has a little kitchenette in it. So Bill, is it just your family, or are you like a multi-generational family?
It's just us. We've got 4 kids though. So we actually just did a whole price thing on a house in Edenwild. So that's about $580.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
That's cool.
Okay, so
yeah,
let's go back. We've got 4 kids.
Yeah. Oh, so now, so you have 4 kids, and tell me their ages, Bill.
So they're 17, 15, 7, and 6.
I got to tell you, these guys, they had 3 kids, and they were 8, 12, and 13. So it's a good range. There is in this neighborhood. Are you familiar with Eden Wild?
A little bit. I mean, share with me what you want to share.
Yeah. So they have swim teams, they have Alta teams, they have a community director, they have events going on all year long. It is a fantastic neighborhood. If you want your kids to, if you want to know who your kids are playing with and stuff, it's just a great big neighborhood for that sort of thing. A lot of professional couples are in there too, but I know you called, you want to know what the price is and what the bedrooms are and everything. So fantastic house. I really would like to show that to you, Bill. So the purchase price is $525. And is that in your range?
So I'm like up to 475 or so. Could
Okay.
you show me that one anyway?
I would love to sell that to you for $475, but I think the sellers would have an issue with that, Bill. I'd love to sell it to you because it sounds like it'd be a great house for you. But here's what I can do, Bill. I may not be able to sell that house to you, but I can sure find a house at $475 for you or less. I mean, hey, if you can get it for less, wouldn't you like that?
Yeah. Do you have like a mobile app or something?
I do, and I'm going to send that app to you. I'm going to text it to you. Thank you for that. I have a mobile app, but here's what I really would like to do. I know that this house isn't the right house for you yet because you're just not there in price point, but I would love to meet you face to face. Let's at least use this house as an example so I can see what you like about it. We can walk through and you can tell me if you like that kitchen space, if that kitchen space works for you. Does this basement work for you? So would you like to schedule an appointment? I know it's a little bit out of your price point. And I'm not trying to sell this house to you, Bill. I want to find out what you like and what your family needs so that I can be on the lookout. We have off-market listings. We're constantly putting out emails to not just agents in our company, but in other companies asking what's available out there. So I would love to have your criteria bouncing around in my head and really kind of seeing your reactions to different things because it makes an impact and it helps me remember. So how about we schedule an appointment just so that we meet face to face and I can find out really what you want in a house so I can start searching for you. Remember, you don't pay a buyer's agent, Bill. The seller pays a buyer's agent. So this is
right.
at no cost to you. You can put me to work for you, but I'd really like to learn what you're looking for. Best way to do that, meet face to face. How about 6 o'clock this evening over at that listing on 525 Wild Run Road?
Yeah, I could do that. I really like your approach. The last agent I spoke to, they didn't seem to ask me anything about what my goals were, what kind of property I was looking for. So you want to just bring over a buyer brokerage agreement? I think that's something I need to sign, right?
Let's sign away, Bill.
All right. Thanks for that question, Kim. Was that helpful? Okay, cool. Anyone else before Robin takes off for the afternoon?
Robin, you mentioned that sometimes it's helpful to have like more than one voice to listen to. I know when I was taking class with Melba or doing the different things, she'd toss in a couple of videos. Have you ever put a small video into your buyer presentation to break it up if it's somebody that you feel like needs more information?
Yeah, all the time. So I haven't done it in a buyer presentation, but I have done it. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I've done one in a buyer presentation. It's not something I do normally,
Okay.
but I do it all the time in listing presentations. Because in listing presentations, what we do, and it's really easy, the tools are available to you guys to do this. Take some classes. They're going to be coming up soon on how you can create videos for your listings. So what I'll do when I'm in a listing presentation, what I'll do is I'll start talking a little bit and then I stop and then I actually show them a video of an actual virtual open house. And then we talk a little bit further and then a little bit later I show them the actual Facebook ads that are all done by video with fly-in graphics, and I show them what that looks like because people are always impressed by that sort of thing. And it's rare that I don't get somebody who says, oh my gosh, I absolutely love that.
So what if we don't have anything like that yet, where we don't have those videos? I mean, because you have that from having those clients before. What if you don't have that?
So here's what I would suggest that you do. I want you to think about who in your PC group that you guys, or out of, forget your PC group. What about asking a friend or two to go with you to any, you can use one of my listings. You can use anybody's listing and it would be easier if it was a vacant listing, that you can meet at the house, and you can sort of have your friend role play that for you, do a 30-second video of just standing out in front of the house. Oh my gosh, Candy, it was so nice to meet you. I'm so glad to see you here. And you can talk about how to get pre-approved for a loan. You can talk about what the buying process is. No more than 30 seconds. No more than 30 seconds. Do it on your iPhone. No more than 30 seconds. So Candy, I really like how, I really appreciate you meeting me here today. I want to know what you're looking for in a house. Tell me more about what you're looking for in a house. How can I help you? Let her talk for about 15 or 20 seconds and then say, that's awesome. Have you been pre-approved? Well, no, I really want you to get pre-approved. You know why? Because it's so disappointing if we go into this house at 300,000 and you can only do 250,000, and I don't want to disappoint you for that. So how about if we, if you can just chat with a lender, there's no obligation, Candy, and I've got a couple of lenders I can recommend to you. Would you be interested in that? Or whatever that is, just role play. The conversational type of thing really works well. And then you can turn straight to the camera and say something like this, right? This is completely off the cuff, so forgive me. But you can look right into the camera and you can say, if you're looking for a buyer's agent that's really going to help you nail down your criteria so you're not going all over town being shown something that you're not either qualified for or that you don't even like, give me a call. I'm going to ask you great questions. We'll find the perfect house for you. Looking forward to chatting with you. My number is blah, blah, blah. Text me, email me, call me. I'm happy to help. I'm Robin Lemon, Keller Williams Realty Consultants. Looking forward to chatting with you.
I love that. And I just came to mind, like we're taught to do a pre-listing package for a listing, right? That kind of like shares, this is kind of what my marketing pitch looks like. This is kind of my resume, some testimonials. This is an example of some listings that I've sold in the past, that kind of stuff, my stats, so that you don't have to go over that stuff in the listing presentation itself. Why couldn't you just send like almost like a pre-buyer listing video that says something to the effect of, we can piggyback off of some of the stuff we saw from Dave Jinks yesterday, right? Hey, I'm a person that when I have an intention to get something done, I get it done, right? When I make promises, I keep the promises. Right. I am a master of negotiation. I love learning about communication styles and helping people through these big financial decisions. I am committed to getting results for you. And I'm so excited for the honor to spend 30 minutes with you, on Tuesday at 4:00. Can't wait to see you. And it's a video, right? How many buyers agents are doing that kind of stuff? No one.
That's right. No one. Yeah,
right.
That's awesome.
You don't
that's
have to have, you could even throw in a little, cut to like, oh, we used Heather to, to help us find a home, or hey, Heather just helped us with this project. She's just such a great person. She asked us all the right questions. She, made sure everything got done in a timely fashion. She's a person of integrity, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Great stuff.
All right, Robin, I'm just so excited. Today is the last day that we don't have you on the leadership team. And Monday is the first day that we got you on the leadership team. So rest up this weekend.
Right.
And we are excited to, team up with you, and we're just honored to be, a partner of yours. Y'all get excited. Roswell is it is changing every single day. And when we sit together as leaders, what we're saying to ourselves, and when we're basically having a litmus test on, hey, is this a good idea? We're saying, hey, is this going to improve the quality of lives of the people that have chosen us? Right?
That's right.
How can we have the biggest impact on these people from a financial standpoint, from a personal standpoint, from a family standpoint, from a mindset standpoint? And it's just going to get better and better. So, Robin, congratulations on your opportunity, and thank you for sharing some of your time today. Grace, nice to see you as always.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me come in and share and crash your party, so to speak.
That's okay. It didn't
Thanks,
get started
Robin.
until you came anyway. You're the life of the party.
This one is.
All right. All right, guys, I'm
All
gonna
right.
hit the stop and then we'll, let's take like a 30-second break and then we'll start the launch mastermind, okay?
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Robin.
Bye.